Hello, thank you for the opportunities, and for this time I would like to discuss about the agronomic result in East Nusa Tenggara from 2018 to 2019. This research is collaboration between the Research Center for Root and Tuber Crops, Brawijaya University Malang, the SIAT Southeast Asia, the Indonesian Legume and Tuber Crop Research Institute, University of Nusa in Maumere, and also the University of Queensland, Australia. The outline for this discussion will be a background and the past research, and then a brief explanation on the activities from 2017 to 2019, followed by the economic analysis, and also will be concluded with discussion and the implication. About background and past research. The background is this part of the project to innovative agribusiness opportunities for profitable and sustainable cassava value chains in Southeast Asia. A little bit background in for smallholder cassava farming in East Nusa Tenggara. Uh, Cassava farmers in East Nusa Tenggara usually harvest after 9 to 10 months. However, most of the local varieties is being harvested more than 1 year, in some cases up to 2 years. And farmers in East Nusa Tenggara mainly use cassava as food source and for animal feedstock. So they are now used for cash crop at the moment. And the price for cassava at the local market for food consumption is around 7,500 to 10,000 per kg, or approximately around 75 cents per kg. But right now there are growing demands for cassava used as animal feedstock with price around 1,500 to 2,000 per kg of fresh tuber cassava. What is the past research that has been done in East Nusa Tenggara? In 2015 until 2017, we did a varieties trial and cropping system. In 2017 until 2018, the research is focused on cropping system, fertilization trials, and farmer adoption. The research in 2018 to 2019 is focused on optimum fertilization trial and also adoption by farmers. And in 2019 to 2020, the research are more focused on the adoption by farmers. So a little bit background from the result from the activities from the 2015 to 2017. Activities from the project aims to improving cassava yield in the East Nusa Tenggara province, and the recommendation are: one, planting density, which are intercrop with maize in 1 by 1 meter for cassava, and the second is the introducing new varieties, which are the Malang 4 variety, Gajah variety, and the Faroka variety, and the third is the fertilizer recommendation. And these are the activities from 2016 to 2008. Uh, the result of varieties trial in the Sika Regency shows that farmers are preferable to plant the Malang 4, the Gajah, and also the Faroka. As we can see here, the new variety, Malang 4, Gajah, and Faroka, had a higher yield compared to the local variety, the Sika Putih and the Sika Kuning. The local variety yield around 25 to 26 ton per hectare, while the new varieties ranging between 36 to 45 ton per hectare. In 2017-2018, we also conducted varieties trial in the East Forest Regency. Again, we can see here the new varieties are having higher yield compared to the local varieties. So if the local varieties average ranging from 28 to 35 tons per hectare, the new varieties ranging between 40 to 50 tons per hectare in 2018. In regards to the fertilization trials, from the survey that was conducted in 2017, farmers in East Nusa Tenggara mostly applying fertilizer only for the main crops in the intercropping, which are the maize. But only few farmers they are still applying for the cassava. Uh, Around more than 80% of the farmers that being surveyed in 2017 are interested to conducting the fertilization trial in their land. So in 2018 2019 we focus on that adoption for fertilization, and these are the result for the trial, fertilization trial in Sika. We have three type of cropping system: monoculture maize in and cassava intercropping with plant density 2:1 for the cassava, and maize with cassava intercropping but with a denser planting space of 1:1 meter for the cassava. As we can see here, the maize yield is not really different between the cropping system. It means that farmers should not worry if they planting cassava more dense, it will not affect the yield of the maize. However, with the denser planting space, the cassava yield obviously will get higher. As we can see here, with 1:1 planting space, the cassava yield reach almost 45 tons per hectare, while with the 2:1s only but half of it, but 25 tons per hectare. And also farmers can see that with adding fertilizer, with applying fertilizer in their field, it will improve the yield both for maize and for cassava. So in 2018-2019, uh, the activity from the project are focused on the farmer adoption, both in Sika and the East Flores Regency in Hokkeng, and involving about 30 households in Sika and 55 households in Hokkeng or in Flores. Mainly, farmers are using Malang 4 Gajah variety, but also the local variety that are available in their field. And the plot size varied between 0.25 hectares to 0.6 hectares. And farmers are being recommended to apply fertilizers, the NPK 15-15-15 at rate about 300 kilogram per hectare in the beginning of planting maize and cassava, and then additional urea 200 kilogram per hectare after they're planting the maize, so about 3 months after planting. But we also continue the fertilizer trial to get the optimum fertilizers. So here we are testing 4 level of nitrogen and 4 level of potassium to get the optimum fertilizers to be recommended to the farmers in East Nusa Tenggara. So the objective is to determine the optimum rate of nitrogen and potassium fertilizer. We use randomized factorial block design with 3 replication. There are 4 levels of nitrogen control, and that for 45 kilogram N per hectare, 90 kilogram N per hectare, and 180 kilogram of N per hectare. And then we have 4 levels of potassium control, 25 kilogram of K2O potassium, and then 50 kilogram of potassium per hectare and 100 kilogram of potassium per hectare. We only have 1 level of phosphorus tested, which are the 100 kilogram of superphosphate 36, which are contain 36% of phosphate. And we tested in the intercropping with cassava and maize with cassava planting speed at 1/1 meter. So these are the cassava at 50 days after planting, and then cassava at uh, 45 days after planting for the second urea fertilization, and cassava at 90 days after planting, which are being harvested, and then the third urea fertilization. And these are the picture of the maize harvest and the cassava harvest, which are 10 months after planting. The result presented above showed that the maize yield was only influenced by nitrogen application only. Cassava yield, on the other hand, was influenced by nitrogen and potassium application, and the cassava yield was also influenced by the interaction between nitrogen and potassium application, although at a lower probability. So again, we can see here the yield of the cassava is affected both by the nitrogen and potassium application. These are the response of maize planted in intercrop with cassava to nitrogen application. So it seems that the optimum fertilizer uh, effect for the maize it's achieved around 100 kilogram of urea N per hectare, while the response of cassava intercrop with maize to potassium application shown in the graph below. So here we can see that the level of potassium at N2, the level the nitrogen level 2 application, which are the 90 kilogram of N per hectare, are the best one we get from the trial. We also conducted a laboratory experiment to reducing the hydrogen cyanide from Malang 4 varieties. So the Malang 4 varieties is known to be a bitter variety, which are containing high HCN, the cyanide. So we're looking to reducing this percentage of HCN from the Malang farm, because farmer in East Nusa Tenggara mostly use the cassava for food. So the objective is to reducing the HCN content using very simple methods that farmer can practice in their own fields. The method is that cassava tuber submerged in natrium chloride and natrium hydrocarbonate solution. There are four of natrium chloride solution: 0, 4, 8, and 16%, and three level of natrium carbonate solution: 0, 5, and 10%. So the cassava being submerged in this solution, and after submerged for 3 days, the measurement are including HCN content, the starch content, fiber, protein, fat, and the preference of taste from the farmer. So we can see here the results that combination of 8% solution of natrium chloride and 5% solution of natrium carbonate is able to decrease the HCN content to 52.5 milligram per kilogram, which are the safe level is around 50 milligram per kilogram. So these are the combination that achieve and will be easier to implement it by the farmer. So for the economic analysis from the previous trial in 2017-2018, we can see here that applying fertilizer increased the net benefit from the farmers, either by the urea or the NPK fertilizers. And also the planting space 1/1 seems to give the most benefit from the for the farmers. And the economic result from the 2018 farmer adoption and also the fertilization trial, uh, we can see here that the income of farmers, it's better with the complete fertilization, so urea and the NPK, and also at the planting space 1 by 1 meter. And also we have a discussion with farmers in East Flores in the Hawking village. So in overall, we can see here that farmers can see the benefit of upscaling their cassava from before, and they have more revenue around 40 um, million 500,000 rupiah, and about in net return around 36 million and 300,000 rupiah, or around 2,500 US dollar revenue if they want to upscale the cassava farmer. And for the economic analysis of the 2019 fertilization, here we can see that it seems the optimum potassium fertilization rate is achieved at 25 kilogram of potassium per hectare. So the gross income at that level is around 35 million rupiah, and with the net income it's around 32 million rupiah. So what is the implication from the study? So we have the variety selection. Farmers in East Nusa Tenggara were preferred to planting Malang 4, Gajah, and Faroka varieties. And the cropping system is still used the intercropping due to the maize for food source. And the fertilizer requirement here in East Nusa Tenggara is controlled by the government through a fertilization plan for the subsidized fertilizer. Hence, farmers need to design the fertilizer requirements for the following planting season with the agriculture field extension officer. And for the market, farmers willing to plant more cassava as long as their commitment and agreement with the trader in the industry or private sector to buy the cassava. And in regards to the stakeholder engagement, the local government of Sika and East Flores are now preparing the MOU for farmers, private sector cassava industry, and the field agriculture extension officer for expanding their cassava farming. The optimum fertilization achieved by this research is the combination of urea about 90 kilogram per hectare, the superphosphate 36 at 100 kilogram per hectare, and the potassium chloride at 25 kilogram per hectare. And to guarantee that the upscaling process are well monitored, there will be need of government support from the local government of Sika to provide mechanization or tractors for opening new field for cassava. So the implication is that there are needs for collaboration between farmers, private sectors, and field extension officer to plan the fertilizer requirement for the following planting season. And the combination of urea, superphosphate 36, and potassium chloride is the most appropriate fertilizer application for farmers in East Nusa Tenggara. We also recorded a challenge that there will be a mealybug attack in East Nusa Tenggara due to the drought season. So planting season in East Nusa Tenggara mainly during rainy season. Thus in August, which are the drought season, the dry season, mealybug attack is quite severe, and there are needs to consider treatment for mealybug attack. And the last one, for market certainty, there is a need to formulate formal agreement between farmers, trader, and private sectors that address the price of cassava, the area of cassava that will be upscaling, and also the timing of harvesting. And thank you for your attention. There will be the conclusion from our research.